Hello and welcome back to the Open Garage. I'm your host, Rayan, and today we have a couple things that I want to touch on. Mainly stuff that I've been thinking about throughout the week, and a lot of stuff that I've sort of learned, or I guess understood from the last episode. From recording it and editing it, I sort of realized that I do use filler words a lot, and that's something that I've been told multiple times, and I try not to. I'm trying not to right now, and trust me, it is very difficult. But you know what? I think it's important to always be trying to improve a little thing about yourself. And while it is easy to sort of get caught up in trying to be perfect, I think that ultimately you end up being better for trying to improve little things day by day about yourself that will compound and just return better in the future. I was listening to this podcast the other day, and I'm sure a few of you, or many of you, know him. There's this guy. He used to be a rapper out of the UK. He's now a boxer. His name is Bugsy Malone, right? And I was listening to him talk, and he said that when life, well, I'll give you guys the full, I guess the context. They were talking, and the host of the show, Chris, he says, the podcast, by the way, for anyone wondering, is called Modern Wisdom. It's one of the bigger podcasts that I listen to, and it's been very helpful for me. But Chris was basically saying how it's tough to get through challenges. He's talking about how his struggles and stuff. Everyone has different struggles, but ultimately, it feels like everything, or like some things are impossible, right? And then Bugsy, he says, well, I think that everyone starts with small challenges, and you don't actually get to the big challenges until you complete successfully the smaller ones. And I don't know why that stuck with me, because I think everyone is very caught up, or I shouldn't speak for everyone. I would say I am very caught up in, the bigger picture and trying to accomplish everything that I've always wanted to. But I think I often forget about the little challenges that stack up to get to the big challenges that I'm wishing for. Like all of the little minute details, all of the little things that I could do to build myself up, to build my personality, build my confidence, build a brand, build stuff that can help me be successful at that challenge when that time comes. For example, I do this podcast mainly just because I want to get better at talking. I feel like I stumble over my words a lot when I'm talking to people, when I'm socializing and stuff. And I enjoy talking about stuff I'm interested in. And so to me, this podcast is sort of a little challenge for me, because yeah, it's a challenge setting all this stuff up and getting a podcast to film. I have lighting, I have, audio, all this stuff has to be in check, right? But ultimately, when I get over the challenge of forcing myself to get out of bed and, on a Saturday when I very easily could just be relaxing and, doing nothing, getting over that challenge is what has gotten me to sit in this seat and talk to this camera. And life really is just a couple small challenges that add up. And looking at it as a whole, it's very easy to generalize and sort of group them all together and say, well, this is a huge thing. This is impossible. Well, no, I think it's possible, but the stuff that's possible are the minute things, the small little details, the small little things that are in your control as of right now. And he said that if you don't even get the small challenges, or if you don't even win the small challenge, or if you don't even like attempt the small challenges, you never even get to the big challenges. You end up just staying where you are because you might be scared, you might be afraid, or you might be, worried, or you might feel like the imposter syndrome. That feeling that feeling slowly starts to fade as you start doing these little things, these little minute things. And one of the things that he was talking about that also stuck with me was he had a pretty bad bike accident. And he was talking about how when he was in the accident, he was at a point of his fame where he he was self-sufficient. He took care of himself, he took care of everything he needed to, and he felt like he didn't need anyone else, right? I'm sure if there's other guys that are watching this is what we all want for ourselves, right? We all want to be self-sufficient. We all want to be able to take care of ourselves, and eventually, hopefully, take care of our family in the future. But he said that in a moment of being self-sufficient, he got into this accident, and for the first time in his adult life, he felt helpless. He was lying there on the ground, and he had a pool of blood coming from his head. He fractured his skull in 3 different places. And he's talking about this experience, and then Chris goes, well, I guess humbling would be too much of an oversimplification. He said it was scary. And I think you might think that, he might have said it was scary because obviously it's an accident. It's very tense, a lot of adrenaline, there's a lot of, there's a lot of, your body's in a state of shock, right? But he said, no, it was scary because I've been so self-sufficient for so long that him having to rely on someone else, because he fractured his kneecap, he fractured his patella, or he shattered it. I think I forget. It slipped my mind. But in a moment of being at the top and being able to provide for himself and people around him, he gets into this accident, and he said that it was scary because he no longer was able to take care of himself the way he used to. Being able to stand on your own 2 feet and saying, well, I don't need anyone else. I could do all this myself. I think a lot of people, me included, have that mindset. We want to do everything ourselves, and it's hard to ask for help. But you know what? Humans are social creatures. We all need help at some time in our lives, and I think it's a lot easier to sit in silence than it is to be have the humility and tell someone that you need help. I very recently have, talked to a couple of friends, and, I've said to them, hey man, might not be doing as good. I might not be doing well. And, asking them for security, and not really needing anything from them, but more so just being able to have someone that's there and experiencing that emotion with you, or experiencing that feeling or that situation with you. That is a feeling that, it's scary, but it's necessary, right? So Bugsy's talking about how he fractured his kneecap, or he shattered his kneecap, I think, and he said that, at the time his ex-girlfriend was taking care of him and all this stuff. And he said he said it was scary. He said it was scary because there's a lot of, him being at the echelon that he is. He's an entrepreneur, he's a boxer, he boxes, he acts now. Him being at the echelon that he is, you sort of feel untouchable, I'd imagine, being at a level where you have the freedom and the, power to take care of whoever you want and do whatever you might need to do whatever you want. In the same episode, he talked about buying a Lamborghini cash, right? And like, it's the being at that level, right? And still needing someone to take care of you in your time of need is, it's a reminder to all of us. I think it's a reminder that, like, people aren't meant to be alone, right? There's a sort of social comfort that we all get from being around other people. And whether that's in our time of need or just socially, or, when we're happy, when whatever it might be, there's going to come a time when you're going to need someone, and trying to fight that is a little bit, foolish, because it's not possible. No one person can do everything. Whether you want to think you can or you don't want to think you can, not one person can do everything. And this is the same reason that, CEOs hire other people to do parts of their job. There's a lot of stresses that come with that, and there's a lot of responsibilities that come with that, right? And ultimately, these people need to rely on other people. And if you never rely on someone else, then you just end up sort of falling into this rabbit hole of living your entire life just trying to survive. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't be trying to, improve a lot. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying that trying to do something alone, while it is more fulfilling, it is much more difficult. And that doesn't bar you from needing someone in the future, from needing an outlet, someone that is an impartial third party that can tell you, or that can be there with you, or tell you, you're wrong. You're doing this wrong. This is not right. There's a lot of things that I wish I changed earlier, but I only changed because someone might have told me along the way that, what you're doing this isn't good for you. This isn't healthy. And so ultimately something changed. The reason I decided to start cutting, because I felt unhealthy. People have been telling me that I should be cutting anyways. And so now I'm cutting. Hopefully by the end of 2026, I'll be at a pretty good weight, and I should be relatively lean, But yeah, no, I was, this one episode, I very much love it. I will link it in the description. I'll also maybe put it right here. It's called Modern Wisdom, the podcast. And the episode is, it's with this guy, Bugsy Malone. I like his points of view. I like the way he speaks. He's very articulate, and I appreciate that about people. I'm trying to be more articulate. So, but just thinking about the human condition, and I guess, human nature, you're speaking more to that. I feel like a lot of the time falling into, a routine can feel very comfortable, falling into the same routine all the time. And there's a sort of, I guess, stagnant feeling when you get into a routine, wanting to do the exact same thing every day is it's not a bad thing. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. There's certain things that you should want to do every day, but with everything, it's in moderation. You can't do Like, I can promise you, if you try to do the exact same thing for more than a month, like every single day doing the same thing at the same time for more than a month, you will drive yourself insane, right? Because stuff happens, stuff comes up, people want to hang out, you might have other responsibilities, people might come out of the blue and be like, hey, I need this, I need that, work might run late, this might happen, that might happen, my camera's not working, the gym isn't open, there's not this machine is busy, all this stuff, stuff that's out of your control, right? But I think it's so like comforting, or I guess I don't know. I guess like it's just easy to take those at face value and just say, well, this isn't going to be possible then, right? If I'm not able to do this for multiple days in a row, then I can't do this, right? But like, if you even get a week of doing something consistently, you should be proud of that. You should be proud that a week has gone by and I've done this one thing every single day this week, and I feel amazing. You get a sort of you feel a sort of recognition, like you recognize yourself for being able to do that, and I think that's a beautiful feeling. I think anytime that I have tried to implement a new habit in my life, the first week is always the hardest. The first week is always going to be the hardest. Getting back in the gym, whether it's studying for that exam, whether it's, meeting that friend, whether it's doing that task every night, or, trying to study for whatever it is every night, or you going to work every single day, whatever it is. But if you can do that for a whole week, I think that's commendable. I think you should give yourself a pat on the back, because a lot of the time it's easy to get caught up. Well, I did it this week, but I have to do it next week or else it doesn't count. Maybe that's just me, but I'd like to think a lot of other people think the way I do too. Experiences as humans, we all sort of feel like all of our experiences are unique, but I think there's a sort of parallel that comes with the human mind, the human condition. And there's certain things that obviously are different from person to person, because everyone has a different personality and everyone has different experiences and everyone has their own way of thinking. But ultimately, everyone feels anxious, everyone feels scared, everyone feels sad, everyone feels happy. Really, they feel it in their own ways, but all humans feel these emotions. And whether you can, navigate them well or not is really a matter of what kind of pathways or what kind of avenues have you tried to create for yourself to navigate those emotions. For example, if you're like me and you hate yourself, you go to the gym, right? You go to the gym. I don't hate myself, no. But you go to the gym, right? There's a lot of pent up emotions, and if you are someone that doesn't like to, blow up at people, or just sort of, I'm someone, I don't really try. I don't like losing my temper, and I don't really lose my temper often at all. Like I'd like to think I'm very mellow, and I try to keep my cool, let stuff, water off my back. It's not my issue, right? But when I'm in the gym, right? When I'm in the gym, those emotions might come out, and not in a physical sense, not in like I'm gonna work out and I'm gonna look mad while I'm working out, right? I mean more just exerting all of that energy on those weights, okay? There's a reason I speak so highly of the gym, and it's because in the past 4 years of my life, it has been the only constant that I have always come back to and always felt amazing with. It has always been a stone in my life. It has been like a guiding path, sort of. It keeps me in check, right? And I get that life gets busy, and believe me, I've taken my fair share of breaks. I was just talking to a friend about this the other day, and I think I've taken maybe 4 or 5 pretty long breaks from the gym in my 4 years. So most of them ranging from around 3 to 6 months, and every single time I've come back, I've gotten my physique back within 2 to 3 weeks. Okay. So muscle memory is very real. And this is one thing I love about the gym is that the muscle you make it's quite literally a physical progress bar for everything that you're doing every day, right? It's a physical sort of it's a thing you look at and be like, yo, I have this much muscle because I worked this hard, because I did this many sets, I did this many reps, I did this much weight, right? And I've done it for this long now, so I've gained muscle. And muscle doesn't go away easily. I'll tell you, like you might feel a bit smaller, you might lose a bit of muscle mass, but muscle memory is very, very real. And I've experienced that firsthand. And so that's why I will always say, even if you feel like, oh, I haven't gone to the gym in so long, just go, just get after it, because I guarantee you within a month, you will be exactly back to where you were when you stopped. All right. Yeah, what else? I don't know. I think, yeah, I don't know. I think muscle memory is one of the things that, like, not just muscle memory, but like when you like work out really hard and you get like you get that pump, and you get that, like, you feel pumped up and you feel like, oh, I'm jacked, right? When you get that feeling, it's like it's quite literally like you could physically see, like, if I keep doing this for a couple months, this is where I will be. Like this is what my resting physique will look like. And that to me is a beautiful feeling. Everything else in life, you sort of start it without really knowing what the outcome is going to be. But with the gym, when it comes to the gym, you quite literally have a physical, like you have a physical, like an example. You have you have like sculpted example. It's like your body's telling you, like, yo, lock in, and you could look like this on a random Tuesday, and that's a beautiful feeling. That's a beautiful, one of the things that I love about the gym, and I've already sort of talked about this, I guess, but I'll say it again. This is why I love the gym, mainly just because compared to everything else in my life, the gym has been a constant, and it has always been something that has proved its worth to me. And I'll delve into what I mean by that. Going to the gym, or having the discipline to go to the gym and putting in the work to better yourself, to better your health, to gain muscle, to gain strength. As a man, like, you could think whatever you want about it. As a man, though, I think that is one of the most liberating feelings that I have ever felt. Being able to say that I consistently go to the gym it's a wonderful feeling, and it's also a point of, it's a point of happiness, and I have a sort of pride with that, like I believe I've earned that pride. I have consistently been going for so long now, and I've learned a lot, and I'm very happy that I even started going in the first place, because it has been the best thing that's ever happened to me. But the reason I say that it's proved its worth to me is because when you go and you have the discipline to get in the gym and get after it, the discipline carries over into other aspects of your life. It compounds, and not only does it compound in the gym, but it compounds in the rest of your life. You have the discipline to go to the gym. Oh, well, and then maybe you start thinking, well, I probably have discipline to do other stuff too. Like I might, I don't know, like any random example of, I might, I'll give you an example that I'm dealing with right now. I'm trying to cut right now. I'm on a cut diet, and I meal prep every weekend. And so my thing is that I've been going to the gym, right? But I have had the discipline to go to the gym for so long. So then I go, well, I think I don't really know. I'm an okay cook, but I think I could start doing meal prep. There's not much I have to do to get started in it. Just gotta hit the grocery store, and all this stuff that feels so far out of reach. All the stuff that feels way, way in the distance, right? All of this stuff starts feeling so much more attainable because I have built the discipline of doing this one thing in this one aspect of my life, and it compounds into other aspects of my life. And it's a beautiful feeling. I don't really think there's another thing that could sort of show you progress in that way. So show you like how your personality changes just by doing it. Not even just by not. You don't even have to like be good at it. Just by doing it every day. If you keep that a constant, I wholeheartedly believe that your life will get better. Even if you're not a gym person, even if you don't like lifting heavy weights or like that whole all the bodybuilding culture, I'm still telling you, like, you just have to just get into it. Just start doing it. Find a workout that you enjoy, and just get into it. Like it's a push and pull, but ultimately, you're the one that decides how hard it is for you. If you make it easier for yourself, it'll only benefit you. What I mean by that is doing, making little changes so that the stuff that seems out of reach becomes this much more close to being in reach. And I'll expand on what I mean by that. If you see something and you go, well, this is impossible. Like I can't do this, right? This is insane. Like, there's no way I could do that. You push that away from you because you might feel like, oh, well, it's impossible. There's no point of even thinking about it. Well, no. If you want to do something, right, and it seems like it's so difficult with your schedule or whatever it is, make it easier for yourself and make it more convenient for yourself, right? Essentially, if you're already going to be going to class or you're already going to be going to work, just find something. Like if it's, whether it's the gym, whether it's running, whether it's track, whether it's whatever it might be, right? If you try to plan your day in a way where you do stuff that allows you to have the opportunity to do these things that you want to do or things that you want to start doing, they become that much more in reach because you're not sort of limiting yourself in your belief because you're leaving that time open. You're leaving that space open. You're leaving the possibility that, maybe one day I finish class, and maybe most days I don't really feel that inclined to go to the gym. Maybe one day I walk past the gym too many times and I go, why don't I just walk in and start working out? And this one little reframing, sort of changing how you think about the stuff that seems out of reach, it has done wonders for me, which is why I recommend it to everyone. I think making stuff seem out of your reach is unfair to you and unfair to your future. Don't limit yourself because you feel like something is impossible, because no one can tell you what you can and can't do. Only you can tell you what you can and can't do. And I'm not saying this to be like, listen, I say this because this is how I ended up getting into the gym. This is how I started my journey. This is how I made it easier for myself. I found a way to make it convenient for me, and that makes it so much easier to just go and do it. Convenience is one of those things that when you have it, when you have something that is convenient, or when you have an activity or something to do that's convenient for you, humans default to that. Humans default to whatever takes the least amount of work to do, right? So if you decrease that ceiling of what you as a human or as a person can default to doing, then you increase the amount of likelihood, or you increase the amount of likelihood that you actually do that thing. I don't even know if, like, do you understand what I'm saying? Like, I'll give you literally a perfect example, right? If I am going to class, if I'm going to class every single day, right, Monday to Friday, right, my class finishes at 3 o'clock, and let's say I have to walk back to the GO station and I have to go take the train or whatever it is, right? On my walk back, I could take one of two routes. One route is probably the easy route, and it takes 15 minutes, right? The other route is a bit of a longer route, right? But it's 20 minutes, all right? It's already the summertime, so I could probably walk a bit further, right? But the 20-minute route walks me past the gym. And I'm not even saying and let's say I don't take the 20-minute route, right? I take the 15-minute route. Every single day that I take that route, I'm not reminded of the gym. I'm not reminded of the I get caught up in whatever thought I have, whatever, oh, this class is difficult, I have to worry about this exam, this test. All this stuff is stuff that I'm worried about. But you know what? If I take the 20-minute route, right? I'm thinking about this stuff, and on my way, I might see the gym, and I might just look at it and be like, oh yeah, I have to go to the gym too. I should probably start doing that, right? You have class Monday to Friday. Let's say Monday to Friday, you take the 20-minute route, and you don't even give it the time of day, right? The next week, you might just glance at it, right? You might not even think about it. The next week, you might look at it and be like, oh, I should probably start going to the gym, Fourth week, right? Fourth week might come, and on the Friday of the fourth week, you're like, okay, well, I don't have anything to do tomorrow. Like, it's fine if I get home a bit late today. Like, it doesn't make a difference to me. On the Friday, you might say, well, you know what? I'm already here. Why don't I just walk into the gym? And that's how it starts. That's how you build that. That day is going to be the day that you changed your path in real time. You changed your routine in real time. And so making stuff more convenient for you is ultimately how you make accomplishing the biggest things that you feel like you could never accomplish. This is how you make those things seem so much more in reach. And I've done this multiple times in my life, and it's been so helpful for me. And I can't recommend it enough. But yeah, like that's pretty much it. I mean, I didn't really want to talk about much else. If you guys enjoyed this episode, leave a like, subscribe to this channel, and share this video with whoever you might feel like needs it. I am not intending for this to be a motivation channel. I promise the next video is actually going to have like cars talk and stuff. I'll talk more about cars and stuff, but whoever needs this video, send it to them. I genuinely think that it's very important for, especially, young people like myself, like a lot of people that I'm friends with. It's important for that reframing, to frame your day or your experiences or your your routine around convenience. Convenience is it's bliss. It's the human condition relies on convenience, and I think that making it more convenient for you to accomplish the things you love is all I would want anyone to take away from this. All right, make your life more convenient, do the things that you love, and make it easier for you to do those things. That's it for this video. That'll be it for today. Yeah, I can't do an outro for the life of me. That'll be it for today. I'll see you guys next week. Peace.